Broke girls can't afford food or rent. Broke girls can't afford food or rent. You have women now crying on social media showing you just how little food they're eating and how little they can afford as inflation continues to wipe out their savings and any disposable income that they have. Watch the end of the video to fully understand the implications of this, how this is going to affect women going forward, as well as how men are going to respond. Today's video comes from Man Guide. His channel will be linked in the description. And now let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
Starbucks drink today. I don't know if you guys have tried this. Pretty solid. Pretty solid.
You've got a single 46-year-old woman. She's found herself in an unhappy situation. She's got a lot to say.
I want a relationship, that's what I want. I had all the adventures, I have all the stories to tell. I just want somebody that I can count on.
All I just heard is that she had all the partying. She was out there finding herself for a really long time. She's 46. How appetizing to a man to know that you got all the nasty out of your system. And now here he is. You want someone reliable and dependable now that you did all that. And he gets to have that consistent image of you doing all the nasty with everybody before because you just told him. How desirable. Why is the brain dead so thick? I'll tell you why. Because all of these women absorb all of this modern feminism for so long, and women lie to them. They tell them that guys are somehow going to receive that information well. And that guy is just like, bye. See you later. You had all the stories? I don't want to know. I don't want to have to go to the STD clinic either on my way out of here, honey.
Too tired to work, too poor to quit, too old for a sugar daddy, too out of shape to strip.
Yeah, guys. You see, women live in a reality constructed entirely based on how they feel. Okay? This is the reason why I've said that another reason you have to learn how to be a good liar. Because women cannot handle the truth. Modern women will straight up tell you to lie to them. Lie to them. Don't tell them the truth. Maintain an air of mystery. Basically, they want an illusion. They want the lie. They don't want the reality. They want something that stimulates their emotions. They basically want a guy that's a story. Probably undoubtedly one of the greatest pickup artists to ever live. His name is Mystery. I don't really know what he's doing these days, but there was a book that was essentially all about him, called The Rules of the Game. And then he released his own book called The Mystery Method. And of course, I read The Mystery Method, and the breakdown of The Mystery Method is simply this: that as human beings, our sole purpose on earth is to replicate and survive. Men are best designed for survival. Women are best designed for replication. And basically, women replicate, or they offer their bodies for the purpose of replication so that they can survive. And men protect women to gain access to their ability to replicate, which then in turn will allow them to survive as the population increases. Think about this very carefully today. As we're entering into a new era, don't get me wrong, human beings are valuable, but we're entering into an era where technology will now begin doing a lot of the jobs around us and increasingly replacing people in the workforce, where a lot of these jobs will no longer exist. And let's be very, very clear. A lot of people are not going to be able to do any more than this. I'm going to tell you how I know this. I lived overseas in Mexico, and there are these people who dig ditches. They're basically ditch diggers, and they don't do anything else. And it's like, people are like, this is a very sad way of living. And there was a point in my life I was like, oh my God, I would never want to end up like those people. Because could you imagine? But here's the thing. How do you end up like these people? Very simple. These are people who chose not to go and get a proper education. These are people who are not grinding. They're not learning. They're not doing any of these things. They have plenty of opportunities. They want an easy life. They make just enough money to survive, and they eat it out and drink it out. And as long as they have a roof over their heads, place to sleep and pee and poop, and that's about it, they'll basically just keep on living this way because they don't have to grind the way that we do. A lot of people do not know that the life of the average Mexican is easy. You're going to say easy? It's easy compared to the life of the average American. And that's how it is in the Philippines. That's how it is in a lot of other countries. I shouldn't say the Philippines. There are issues with opportunity there. There are not as many opportunities in the Philippines where you can go and just get just about any job. But to be very honest with you, in many countries there are plenty of opportunities, but these people don't want to do these jobs. Okay, they don't want to do these jobs. For example, there is what's the name of this guy? There's a guy named Scott who's married to, I believe her name is Divine. She's a Filipina. Many of you know them. He's a passport king. All right. This guy really helped put passport kings on the map. And this is a guy who still has a very serious health issue. And as a result, it makes it hard for him to gain weight. And his doctors told him he would never be able to go traveling or trekking or doing a lot of things. And he proved them all wrong. He went to the Philippines. He traveled with his then girlfriend, who's now his wife, and he's been killing it ever since. Okay? And he's been proving everyone wrong. He basically opened his first business in the Philippines. They're building it out right now. It's not open yet, to my understanding. And it's a simple business. It's basically a water filtration service. So in a lot of other countries like the Philippines, you can't just drink the local water. Granted, no one in America really drinks the water from the pipe. There are some people who evidently drink tap water, but most people do not drink tap water. I would not recommend drinking tap water. But in these countries like Mexico, the Philippines, you can't drink tap water. You cannot drink tap water. So you have to have your water always filtered for you. And there's easy ways to get water. It'll be delivered to your door. Personally, I think it's more robust in the Philippines and in Mexico, and even in the Philippines, it's not that hard to get water. But for some people, it can be a little bit more difficult if they don't have like a water filtration location in their neighborhood. There are these places that actually, filter water, and you can go and you buy your water there very easily. So basically, they're just producing, fresh water that's clean to drink. So he's starting a business, to my understanding, that basically just does this. So the people in the local area won't have to travel very far to get clean water to drink. Let me make this clear. A lot of Filipinos could do this. A lot of Filipinos could do this, but they don't want to. Okay? Just like so many of us in Western society start YouTube channels or Instagram or use social media and leverage social media to do these things that we do, they can do the same things. Okay? I'm not saying it's not the hardest thing in the Philippines to get an education. In fact, at the college level, it's significantly cheaper and more affordable than in the United States. Way more affordable, even for a Filipino person. The simple truth is that many people overseas, they want to have easy lives. They don't want to grind. They don't want to work hard. They don't want to live this type of life. Guys, I wake up, I work on my content, I go to sleep, and then I go to sleep. Like, I don't have energy. I really have almost no energy left when everything is said and done, because I have to work so hard putting out content, building, working on my course business, working on my on the Angry Guy Clubhouse for you guys, and a variety of other things. I'm tired. And guess what? I have to keep on grinding. I have to keep on going. And I'm learning constantly. In my free time, all I'm doing is learning. It's exhausting. It's about doing the work that others don't want to do. While Gen Z is busy. I saw like the coldest thing recently, like a little while ago. Someone wrote, Gen Z is a problem. Y'all don't know how cold that is. Someone just left a comment on one of my videos, and it wasn't even specifically about Gen Z, and they just wrote a comment, Gen Z is the problem. That's a cold statement. When people say things like just a very short and direct statement like that, you have to know it's serious. You have to know it's serious. Because you're getting to a point where people look at you like you're a liability and you're a threat to my own survival. So what are we going to do about that? Gen Z are the sleeping and farting generation. They've turned society against them in such a short period of time that they don't understand. They're being blacklisted from society, and they act like they could care less. they could care less right now. But what about in 5 years? What about in 2 or 3 years when mommy and daddy are not giving you an allowance anymore? All right? They've taken a survey and they found that most Gen Zers in their 20s are still receiving an allowance, financial assistance from their parents. Most Gen Zers cannot survive right now, even those who are working, without financial assistance from mommy and daddy. I made a poll earlier where I basically asked, why is it that Gen Zers, they were coming after Gen X and suddenly they've quieted down? And some people basically said it's because they got bored. Others said it's because, others said that it's because out of basically fear. I don't know. And then some people said that it's because it's because Gen X trying to take their allowance away. You have to understand something. Gen Z is not an independent generation. Gen Z cannot survive without someone helping them. This is why I said that they're going to be the squatting and farting. They're going to be the stealing and squatting generation. Because as things get worse and they go into their full-blown hippie era, they're going to be out there on the streets stealing and squatting. All right? Living illegally in the homes of others, seizing properties, and stealing whatever is not nailed down. All right? They're going to be stealing whatever the hell is not nailed down. And the reason why is because they already feel like, oh, well, it's a screw society. The boomers stole our future, so we're just stealing it back. And, corporations are evil. Capitalism is bad. Socialism is good. Communism would be better than this. That's their mindset. That's their absolute mindset. So they don't really, Gen Z doesn't want to work or work very hard. I talk about how exhausted I am, but I talk about this because I want you to understand I can't just stop. I have things to do. Okay? If I say to you, feel sorry for me, Gen X, I'm tired. Most Gen Xers are going to say, oh, you're tired. Want a cookie? And that's it. That's exactly like, yeah, you work hard and you're tired. Okay, so what? So what? Like, welcome to reality. How old are you again? Maybe you're the little bro. Maybe you're the little bro. I'm the big bro and you're the little bro. If you don't understand, that's life. Like, guys, I'm just keeping it real with you. People have to wake up and realize life is hard. This is why Gen X has the greatest survival value, because they understand life is hard and nothing is going to come easy. Our parents absolutely sucked. And they still suck. And that's what prepared us for the world, to understand that this is a horrible world that we live in. And many of us gifted our miserable children easier lives because our parents were so harsh to us. And as a result of that, at least part of it played a role in them becoming the little jerks that they are today.
Fine, I'm going back to work.
And when you finally reach the age where you're basically allowed to do whatever you want to do, you'll find you're too tired to do it.
Hey guys, I'm having a mental breakdown, so I'm gonna try and make myself laugh.
Good morning. Did you guys get a good night of sleep? Because I didn't. Like, I am so low energy at the moment. I want to go to bed. I wish that I had the guts to call out of work, but that goes against everything in my body. Now that I think about it, I've been working here for a year, and I think I've only ever called out once. And that's because I was in the hospital. So I think that's like a valid excuse, you know? I should have called out. I am not making any money today. I have now been here for almost 3 hours. I have taken 6 deliveries. 2 of them have not tipped me, and I've only made $16 in 3 hours. Okay, scratch that. I have now taken 7 deliveries, had 3 of them not tip me, and only made $16 in almost 4 hours.
It's really, really wet out there.
So just to be clear, she's working for Pizza Hut. Is that Pizza Hut or Domino's? I'm pretty sure those are hourly employees. Okay, so they're not living off tips. But she's crying because, she's out there working, getting her minimum wage, or a lot of people get like $14, $15 an hour, but that's not enough for them because, they basically live off tips, pestering people for tips. And when they get tips now, they're not getting large tips anymore. They're not getting a $20 bill anymore. A lot of people are not tipping them if they don't have to, because she is an hourly worker. She works for Domino's or Pizza Hut, whatever. And, that's really it. Like, guys, people are tired. People are tired of the BS. And you know what she could be doing? She could be learning a trade, or getting a skill set that would actually allow her to provide for herself and make a better income. But it's hard. It's absolutely hard, guys. The world is a hard place, man. It's amazing. Like, there was a time in my life where I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I was better at engineering. I like understand because I have a background in computer science, so I understand the core of engineering, computer programming, but I was like, oh gosh, look at all these idiots on YouTube. They're even better than me. And then I realized, yeah, and then there's some of these people who are homeless. Like, you've got like people who are aerospace engineers who are homeless. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, you're an aerospace engineer and they cannot do anything. They cannot, rub their brain cells together and learn how to do anything. They spent all these years in school. They have experience working in aviation, repairing, designing engines and all of this other stuff, doing advanced math, and they're homeless bums on the street. And these guys aren't even 60 years old yet. Not even 60 yet. Some of them. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. It doesn't matter how much education you have. It only matters how much you can apply the things that you've learned in life. I've said this before. I said it in another video, and I'll say it again. You could take a guy with a third grade education, all right? Third grade education, a lot of cases, and tell him to build a rocket ship. Tell him to build a rocket, all right? And you could take a guy that is an aerospace engineer, and the guy with the aerospace engineer will tell you that it can't get done. The guy with the third grade education that ran a bodega for most of his life, though, he starts asking around, and he starts networking, and he finds guys who know about this stuff. He does his own research. He learns what are the basic components of how a rocket works and so forth. And then they look at what are the main issues. It's the supply, so a lot of the parts, the cost of development. He realizes that he can source a lot of the materials because he has a guy who works in supply chain. I've given you the example. All right. And this guy has only ever ordered like products and supplies, but it's still the same concept, principle is there. So they begin doing research, sourcing the products, and bada bing, bada boom, he builds a rocket. And of course, I just simplified it a bit, but I'm giving you an example. A lot of the people who are supposed to be the smartest amongst us, they don't know how to do squat when it really matters. Gen Z doesn't even have that. Most of them, they have no hard skills or soft skills. They're not too bright when it comes to reading, writing, and math, and they also have no communication skills. So they're not very good at networking, most of them. They can't talk to people. I mean, and that because they can't talk to one another. And they absolutely despise one another. I get messages from Gen Zers just confirming everything that I tell you about. Telling you about these people, all right, about how horrible they are. It's insane. The messages and comments I get from Gen Zers who are telling me that they're not like their generation, and yes, everything is true. They're absolutely terrible. It's bad, man. I could never ever imagine having to go to school with Gen Zers today. Like when, for example, like, in the past, if someone wanted to go to medical school in their 40s, it was different. If you went when you were going to medical school with, let's say, the millennials, you're a Gen Xer or even a boomer and you're going to school with the millennials, there's a certain level of professionalism and behavior and so forth. Y'all, Gen Z is creepy. Bro, these people are creepy. There's this thing that they do. Like, they're like this dance. I don't know what the hell it is. They're like itty bitty da 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 da, itty bitty da 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 da, or and face our handbag and lipstick, handbag and lipstick. I don't know what the hell that is. It's some trend with them. And maybe it came from a television show or something, and it's an inside thing with them. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly it's related to. But guys, it looked creepy as hell. They look so cringe. Like, y'all look cringe, and they're like probably like, that's the point. Bro, y'all look, oh my god. Oh my god, you are like who are your parents? Like, oh my god, like Gen Z completely, guys. I'm telling you, like this is where Gen X messed up. Gen X literally kept all the cool for themselves. They kept all the, because Gen X is so cool. They kept all the cool for themselves because Gen Z is so busted. Like they are so uncool. Oh my, they are such a cringe generation.
But I'm too tired to freaking change.
I love how the older generation just shoved college down our throats and said, like, basically that was the only way to be successful. And that in high school, they had everybody sign up for ACC classes because the school got money for the amount of students that ended up graduating and going to college because, again, shoved down our throats. And now they're like, well, that was your choice. That wasn't, I mean, 18-year-old you should have known to not listen to me. You should have known that, you know, we were going to turn the economy into an unaffordable hellhole. You should have known that. You should have prepared for that. So, and yeah, it's not the government's fault. It might be the school's fault because they did raise their tuition by like 3,000% to take advantage of the government giving you money. So, I mean, it might be on them, but there's not much we can do about that. So, good luck.
Products I would go into debt to buy. These are all the products that if I couldn't afford it at that time, I would go into debt to buy them because I cannot do my makeup without them. This video is not an original idea. This is inspired by Blake Healy. I will tag her down below. I saw her do this and I was like, I have to do that because I have so many products that I know for a fact either I've repurchased already or I know that I could not do my makeup without. So if I couldn't afford it, I guess I just have to get a credit card.
I pay too many bills to be paying attention to shit that don't pay my bills. Period.
Somebody just offered me $1,000 for pictures of my feet. And I was like, do you want wallets or like an 8x10, black and white? What do you need?
I'm extremely confused. You're confused? I'm fucking confused, bro.
Damn, Earl, why you FaceTiming me with no clothes on?
Hot girl summer is over. Sugar daddy season.
I'm not coming over there because last time I came over there, you took that Viagra pill and had me tied up for 8 hours.
Y'all. What did guys, haven't I not been telling you for the last year? Hot girl summer is over. Broke girl winter is here. Broke girl winter, guys. And now men are in their soft guy era. All right, guys, they know it. They sugar daddy summer. Sugar daddy. And a lot of these dudes are creeps. A lot of these dudes are creeps. They want it when they want it, and they better get it when they want it. They're like, where the nice guys at? Nice guys are in they're in their era right now. What do you bring to the table, miss? You know, are you not gonna take me out on a date? You're not gonna, you can pick me up, all right? And don't come picking me up in no busted down hoopty, all right? Don't pull that up in front of my house, okay? You need to pick me up in a nice car. You need to open up my door and let me get in first, okay? If we are walking together, you're going to walk beside me towards the street to make me feel protected, all right? You're going to treat me like a gentleman because I'm worth it and I know my worth. And I have my own money. I do not need your money, okay? But I like to be appreciated, okay? Because I am the table. It's not about what I can do for you. It's about what you can do for me. Because I am the relationship. There is no relationship. Okay, you think that you're the gatekeeper of physical intimacy. I am the gatekeeper of the relationship. There is no relationship without me. And if you think that you can survive without me, then go on. Because you wouldn't be out here looking for me if you didn't need me. That's really how it is right now. Men are in their era. All right? Broke girl winter is here. broke girl winter is here. And the funny thing is, like, you have to see all of these liberated women who messed up their lives, you know, and now they're grieving. They're telling other women, like, oh no, you listen, girl, you don't need these men. Things are great. Keep up. Guys, women are turning on one another and blaming each other right now for feminism. They're blaming each other for feminism. And like I said, we should not blame feminism. The individuals that spread this message, that told women that they could do everything on their own. Men have never been able to have it all. This was something impossible. Men have always known we can't have it all. There will always be a compromise. There will always be a compromise. Okay? But women were told they could have everything that they wanted. And it was basically wrapped up in a bow and given to them and delivered in delusion. Women who told women that, no, sweetie, you can't have it all, they were ignored. And it was the lunatics that were like, you could have everything, that they listened to. You know the reason why? Because women don't operate based on facts. They operate based on emotions. It does not matter if another woman who comes from a field that has experience speaks to women and tells them, listen, ladies, you cannot have everything that you want. They will ignore everything that she says and instead listen to women that tell them that they can have everything that they want, because that goes in line with their emotions. Women basically choose the feelings that they like and roll with that. And even when women use facts, women often choose the facts that they like. They choose the facts that they like based around their feelings. So the facts that make them feel good, feel the best, and then they choose those facts and say that those facts are reality, even if those facts are fiction, like the gender pay gap that they keep repeating over and over and over again, and they will never stop repeating. And now as men are leaving society, they're looking for other ways to go after men and get at men and punish men. This is only going to push men further out of society. Women think that they control society, that they control the world. I told you that, guys, I told you exactly what was going to happen. I said women would say, feminism got us everything that we wanted. Now let's fight it together. Or rather, feminism got us everything that we wanted. Now let's fight for one another. There was a woman from the sisterhood who popped up my channel and said that, sex messed up everything, and really we're brothers and sisters. We should be helping one another. I love you, my bro. I love you, my brothers. I love you, my sisters. And I responded and I said to her, listen, you're a person who said that you don't like physical intimacy. You don't like marriage. She pointed out that marriage and children are not good things, and women should not. And and she made a lot of these points. I said, like, listen, you don't like physical intimacy. You don't want to be intimate. You don't want to have children. You don't want to be you don't want to be married to a man. So you're going to be left out of that family unit. And outside of your immediate family, if you want someone to provide and protect you, you're going to have to turn to the state. She called me a predator, saying that, she said, no help for sisters if no physical intimacy. Okay, you've shown your true colors. You're a predator, blah, blah, blah. Bro, you don't want to be with a man. You don't want a husband who you're going to share a bed with. You don't want to be physically intimate with a husband. You don't want to have children. You don't want to be married, but you want men to come out and give you money. And when I say, well, you're going to have to turn to the state because you're now left out of the family unit. You've chosen to exclude yourself from the family unit outside of your immediate family. So you're going to have to turn to the state for your needs. She gets furious with me. And what is she going to do? Report me to the state? Like, how foolish is that? Because I tell you to go to the state, you get furious because I'm like, listen, you're going to have to turn to the state. The state is going to have to take care of you. And because you realize that she realizes that the state can't subsidize her living, or will no longer subsidize her living. So now she's like, oh, I'm going to get you for this. I'm going to use the state. But isn't that the whole point? Revealing that you are just basically an agent of the state. And when you don't get what you want, you basically turn back to the state, even when I tell you to go to the state. You don't forget, guys, the state itself, as it begins to collapse, will turn around and blame men for everything that happens and say that men who are single are stealing from the state and stealing from society. And the more that they tax single men, the less men will work, the less productive men will be. You can never make a man work harder than he'll make himself work. You can work a man to the bone, and you will still never make him work harder than he will work. Because that he will force himself to work if he has something worth fighting for. Because a man without love for country or for family will fight for neither. And if you basically start to try to indoctrinate men, control the thoughts of men. You just end up with a bunch of mindless slaves who basically end up contributing absolutely nothing to society other than what they're forced to do. You end up with broke men who are even more broken. And maybe that's what they want. I think to some degree, these people are delusional. You've got the Pentagon saying that we need a draft ASAP. We need a draft ASAP, not because they want to prepare for war, but because the U.S. military is about to break down. The reserves are only 1/10 of what it was 50 years ago. 50 years ago, we had almost 2 million people in the reserves. 50 years later, we have less than 200,000 people in the military reserves. And the military is about, they said it from the Pentagon, from the highest ranks of the United States military. The military is about to break down. We need to start a draft because the military does more than fight our battles. They also help with things like national disasters, infrastructure, and a variety of other things. We're not actually equipped to take care of our people if there's a natural disaster, if we have something that basically throws us off guard. Things like earthquakes, these things happen. And if we do not have, let's say, then, for example, the National Guard, guys, we don't have the National Guard is like it has fallen apart. Our Coast Guard fallen apart. Okay, the military, it's at a 50-year low. 50-year low. The army is like they cannot recruit. They're struggling to recruit anyone to the army right now. And to be very honest with you, when you look at the people who are being recruited to the army, they are the lowest of the low. They are low value people. A lot of them. All right. They are joining the army because they had nowhere else to go. They had no other options. They are joining the army because they had no other options. I remember Airhead Nomad. I don't know what happened to this guy. He was in the Marines. I think he said that when he joined the Marines, his commanding officer. See, this is the thing. This is the thing, guys. They can read you. They can read you. And some of these guys, some of the commanding officers will look around and they know the ones who are scared and don't really want to be there. And then they'll notice the other ones. And sometimes they'll just call them out and they'll go, listen, you better not be here if this was your last option. All right. I swear I've heard that multiple times now where commanding officers look at these people and they go, you better not be here because this was your last option. All right. Because it is not good to have people in the military who are there just because they have no other option. That's how you get deserters. That's how you get friendly fire. That's how you have a slew of issues. You want people who actually want to be there. You don't want someone watching your back who's there just because they had nothing else. They had nothing better going for them. Some people are like, oh, that's fine. It'll teach them something. Give them some skill sets. The boomers are fools. These are people who dodged the draft. They're the first generation in history to dodge the draft. So they really need to be quiet about things they don't know about because they have definitely contributed to, they have been a large part of the problem. You do not force people into the military that do not want to be there. Okay, are only there because they have no better alternative. They tried something similar back in the 1990s during Desert Storm. I've talked about it briefly here a few times. And basically the way the story goes is like this. They said they had a bunch of people that were headed to prison and they said, okay, we'll give you an option. You could go to prison or you can join the military. So these people basically elected to join the military. So they joined the military and then they send them over to the Middle East. And the people who originally were earmarked for prison that chose to go to the military instead were a colossal failure. We ended up with deserters, friendly fire, people, traitors. It was an absolute terrible thing to do. I mean, even in our literature, it has warned against forced conscription. Do not engage in forced conscription. We don't have, guys, the greatest generation, they're the ones who fought WW1 and WW2. Many greatest generation people fought WW1 and WW2. I really want you to think about that very, very carefully. All right? These people were the real deal. They were no joke. Those people are gone now. The silent generation, for those of you that don't know this, 99% of the silent generation did not fight in these wars. Because the youngest of the silent generation are the oldest, correction. The oldest of the silent generation were actually born in 1928. 1928, and the boomers were born in 1946. So if you understand, like the World War II ended right around 1945. Let me double check. Let's see. When did World War II end? 1945. It ended September 2nd, 1945, and the boomers were born in 1946. And you have to understand, if you were born in 1928, most of these people didn't fight in the war. They were too young to fight in the war. The war was practically over by the time they would have come of age. The oldest of them would have come of age to even participate in that war. So it was basically a no-go. I mean, if you were born in 1928, the war ended in 1945, you would have been the oldest would be 17 years old of the silent generation. So there's no way that they could have fought in that war. So, WW1 and WW2, that was the greatest generation. That was the greatest generation, the generation before the silent generation. So every generation afterwards has basically not participated. They've been dodging these wars. The boomers really have no place talking. They've had everyone else fighting for them and supporting them, and they've been living off multiple generations for decades now. 4 decades, while offering really very little value to society.
You're gonna have to cash at me first.
So let's read that together. Let's go ahead and read this one together because it looks exciting. What does that say there? It says, point of view, you make the mistake of checking your $100,000 student loan balance after doom scrolling everyone's social media highlights reel. 3 tips to avoid ugly crying over your debt in captions. Yeah, guys, these women are cooked. They're cooked. They're cooked because they're all coming into relationships. They're all coming into looking for men and they have massive amounts of debt. These men have now woken up and realized their value, and these women are broke. They're brokies, okay? And they think that they're gonna. Oh, I don't understand why they're gonna try to gaslight men. But men have already figured it out. Men already understand sign language. Okay, shame, insults, guilt, gaslighting, nagging because they need to be right. Okay, men have already figured it out. Guys, when I have simps, it took me a little while to realize I have simps that are trying to call me out and shame me in my comments. But then I look at the things that they're mentioning in the video, like in their, that they're mentioning when they're trying to shame me. And I think about it, wait a minute. I talked about this point like 45 minutes into the video, because these videos are longer now. So for you to try to shame me, that means you had to have watched 45 minutes of my video. 45 minutes. You are one of my biggest fans. For you to sit there and watch that video for at least 45 minutes, hell, you probably watched it from the beginning to the end. Okay? So you're here trying to screw with me, but you're one of my biggest supporters. All right? Thank you so much for the ad revenue. Okay? If you want a Cash App, you can Cash App. You really have to, guys, if people are constantly watching you and all up in your business and trying to criticize you, okay? Those are supporters. A lot of those haters, guys, it takes time and energy to hate and an investment. These men are helping me to pay my bills. All right? If you are all up on me, constantly digesting my content, you are putting money into my pocket. You're only, and I have a large Gen X following, you're only giving them entertainment in the comments. They're just gonna let Gen X is a kind of it's kind of a messed up generation. They really just don't give a damn about anything. So you're giving them entertainment. They see stupid comments like they're just like scrolling like, look at this dumbass. Let's keep on moving. A lot of them won't even respond to your comment. They're just laughing at you. You know, like this is the reality we now live in. A lot of women, they played this game. And the thing is, like, Sims have their own agenda. Sims are agents of the state. Sims are not allies. All right? Sims are not allies. They have their own agenda, and women don't realize it. They didn't realize it, and they're gonna find out soon.
I take all my bills seriously, but the one bill that's not serious to me is a phone bill. Why am I going to pay you to use my phone? At this point, y'all have made me dependent on the phone. I need a phone to get around. I need a phone to make my little videos. I just need a phone. So my mom has been paying my bills since I was 13 years old, a little tight. I'm not now going to assume the responsibility of paying my phone bill. That's too grown for me. And I don't care. You could be like, oh my God, you almost 30. She going to pay your phone bill? Absolutely. Did you just hear me say that? I'm not paying that phone bill. I will get married and transfer the phone bill into my husband's name before I pay that bill. It's just not going to get paid. I will get a beeper on my hip before I pay that phone bill.
You see, guys, women don't want to be responsible for anything. All right, guys? I actually have multiple phones. I've got, I have a business phone. I have an iPhone that I don't use. I have that on Mint Mobile. And that's basically, what is it? What do I even pay? I don't know, like 80 something bucks, for 6 months. I have the cheapest plan on there. Like, it's like 5 gigs a month of data. I don't know. I only use that phone for business. That's my business phone. All right. I've got my main phone and this phone, I don't know. I have, how much do I even have on this phone? I don't even remember, you know, guys. And, I pay my phone bill. And as a man, we don't worry about these things. A lot of people like Mint Mobile because they just pay everything off. Like, you pay it off 3 months. You can pay it every 3 months, every 6 months. I don't know if they have 1 year. They might have 1 year. I don't know if they have 1 year. But a lot of people just pay every 6 months. I pay every 6 months, right? And modern women, they don't budget. Like, bro, so many women today can't even afford their phone bill. Like, how can you not afford your phone bill in 2024? Like, literally, bro, $200, 200, 250. That's, Mint Mobile. That's the network right there. Mint Mobile. You can go online, go on Amazon and get yourself a $100. If you're like a real broke, you can go on Amazon and get yourself a what do you call those phone? A Galaxy SE, second generation, for anywhere between 100 and like 130 bucks, and you have an iPhone. You have an iPhone that will be updated for years. If you're like really that much of a brokey, or you can get yourself a decent iPhone for like $300. I don't know. Refurbished, restored. I'm just being real with you. Like, I don't understand modern women have almost nothing, guys. They own almost nothing of value, and everything has to be given to them. Like, I look around myself, and I don't have a lot of possessions, but I realize, aside from the clothing that I own, because I don't buy expensive clothing, all right, I just wear it until it basically is run out. Then I buy new stuff. That's how a lot of guys are. Like, pretty much everything I own has value. Even if I'm not going to make $1 million from it. Pretty much everything I own has some value that can be resold. And that's crazy. That's crazy. Because I don't even own a lot of stuff. And I still have like thousands of dollars worth of stuff. If I had to do math right now and add up, the value of everything that I have around me, a couple $1,000 probably. Maybe between $5,000 and $10,000. All right. And it's like, in terms of my electronics and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, like, most women don't even have that. Most women have very little of value. They have almost nothing of real value. Nothing of real value. And they are living in extreme poverty. And, if they cannot find a man to buy them food that evening, they don't eat. And how did this happen? They did this to themselves. They chose this life. They basically said, man, we don't need you. We don't want you. And they went on a misandric, that's hatred of men, rant. And yeah, that was it. That was 100% it. They thought they could keep this nonsense going on forever. They thought they could keep playing this game forever. You know, spoiler alert, they could not. Spoiler alert, nothing lasts forever. They put themselves in this situation, and they thought that they were going to find a man to come and bail them out, even while they were destroying the lives of guys. They're still doing it. Look at what's happening in the UK, where if a boy is even suspected of being susceptible to extreme misogyny, his teacher can now report him, is now under duty to report him to the Department of Terrorism in the UK, so that they can come and haul him off. He does not even have to have done anything. He just has to be suspected of being susceptible to the manosphere's influence, to Andrew Tate's influence, to extreme misogyny. What the hell does that even mean? They cannot even give us a definition of extreme misogyny. Just like most women cannot define the word misogyny, they cannot give us an example of even what extreme misogyny is. It's basically whatever they say it is, and they can use it as a witch hunt to destroy the lives of men and boys. And these same women will turn around and try to gaslight and act like they don't understand why men are no longer engaging in society. They don't understand why men and boys are walking away, or in many cases going their own way. They will never understand. They just can't understand men. Men are just so strange. They're like, we don't know. They know exactly what they're doing. They're not children. They know what they're doing. It's narcissistic abuse. But they do not want to confront reality because they are excused from reality constantly. And the simps are agents of this. There are some women that are beginning to lash out at simps and tell the simps to shut the hell up, because they're telling women things like, listen, don't go out on dates with these guys. Don't do anything unless these guys cash app you money, unless these guys do all of these things for you. And there are some women who are now lashing out at the simps and saying, stop it. Stop telling women these things, because they're going to end up childless and single. The kinds of men who do these things, they give women things that they don't deserve, we call those tricks. And if women go out and do these things to the average man, eventually they're going to find themselves childless and single. They're going to completely run down their dating prospects. And basically they'll find themselves old, alone, and run through by Chad and Tyrone. And the simps will still turn around and tell them that they're brave, strong, and beautiful. And that what they should do is just open up an OnlyFools account, and they'll be their first subscribers. Like, sweetie, listen to me. You don't need these men. You don't need these broke boys. They're not good for anything, all right? Here's what you do. Go and open up an OnlyFools account, and I'm going to be your first subscriber. I'm going to be your first supporter, all right? I've got you. All right? You don't forget about all that book learning. Forget about all that tradwise stuff. Tradwise are just cosplay. But forget about all that traditionalism garbage. You don't need that. You're a strong, independent woman that don't need no man. All right? Have you seen those Tyler Perry movies? Medea, listen to me. You're a strong black woman like those women. Even if you're white, you're still a strong black woman on the inside. All right? You don't need those, man. You don't need these dusties, okay? Okay, ladies? You don't need these dusties, okay? You listen, you're gonna open up that OnlyFools account, all right? You're gonna set your price at $5.99. You could even do $3.99, to be honest with you, all right? And you're gonna bust it wide open, and you're gonna see all the money that you're gonna start to make. And I'm gonna be there right along with you, all right? I'm gonna be your first subscriber. I'm gonna help you get started. That's the simps, y'all. Simps are destroying the lives of women, and then women are going to turn around and try lashing out at the simps, and the simps are just going to turn around and tell them to shut the hell up. Because simps are the agents of the state. They are not allies of women, all right? They are agents of oppression. Just like women had no problem doing the work of the state, the simps have their own agenda, and their agenda, believe it or not, does not align with women. Their agenda aligns with themselves. Sims have a completely separate agenda. It's a way of survival for them. It's a means of survival. These are men that would probably never get laid in the first place. All right? So by being simps, they're basically they get access to women who hate men. They get access to resources. Okay, they are rewarded by the state for doing this, and they feel good about themselves. These are men who made a choice. These men, you have to understand something about a simp. A simp hates men. Women don't even, a lot of women who've disillusioned themselves and say that they don't hate men, they don't even understand. Simps hate men. Simps are man haters. Okay? They have betrayed men. They have betrayed masculinity. They have betrayed humanity. They are not fighting for women. They are fighting for themselves. These are some evil people. These are some bad people. These are some bad apples, man. Very, very bad apples.
Beat me on my hip. Paying a phone bill in my eyes is like getting a mortgage. Like, you just too grown for me. Like, chill out. Relax. Like, you taking life too seriously, bro.
Damn, she just admitted to having a phone since she was a teen. And I'm willing to bet she was texting little Pookie and Ray Ray to come to her bedroom and smash her when her mom was at work. And this is why she, a grown-ass chick who looks like she's in her 30s, is still acting like she's 13 years old. If the phone bill, which maybe is $50 a month, is too much for her, what else is she not grown up enough to pay? I'll take the phone bill over car insurance any day. I'll take that over a mortgage. This whole rant was her saying something no one else likes to do. Who wants to work to pay bills? No one. That's why she and these modern women view these relationships as an ATM. And this is why she'll probably only want to date men who make 6 figures or over. It's fine if a woman doesn't want to pay bills, but everything has a cost, including being in a relationship with a man who will pay the bills. Like, be an actual wife. Men should have job postings to date them. Must cook, clean, be fit, friendly, have a body count 2 or less, and not have social media. Instead, these busted brisket lists out her dating requirements like it's a Google job posting, like she's a supermodel, as if a man would be lucky to have her dead weight. No pun intended. And people wonder why men chose to just quit dealing with women in the West. They'd have a more productive conversation with a wall than these delusional 304s. As Kevin Samuels used to say, you can't make this shit up. Let's read the comments. Top commenter says, my ex-husband pays my bill. If I raise the kids, that's the least he can. Ratchet in the video responded, LMAO, mood. These single moms aren't raising kids like that. It's not like the money is going towards tutors and quality clothing. Most single moms use child support money on themselves, like go on shopping sprees, get daily Starbucks, and getting their hair done. If these single moms can't afford to have kids by themselves, as in need child support, then why do they have custody of the kids in the first place? This is why I hope men find ways to opt out of paying child support, like setting up a trust, because then they can stop giving marriage benefits for free. Another comment. I told my aunt this. I'm staying on her plan until I'm married. Damn, these modern women are like leeches, and since she won't find a man, the aunt will be paying the phone bill for the rest of her life.
You have some men that are fleeing the U.S., guys. For example, they quit their jobs and they basically pick up and they flee. They're like, yeah, I'm not paying this child support. I'm not paying this child support. I'm not paying this alimony. And basically, they plan it out. They're like, oh, I have an issue. My back just went bad. I have my back. This is how they operate. They're like, oh, I had an accident. I had the accident at the job. I can't work anymore. I had to leave this job. I have a doctor's recommendation. And then from there, they basically say, oh, I have no more money. Oh, I have no money. You have no, sir, I'm homeless right now. You're homeless. Where are you living? I have no home, sir. I'm homeless right now. All my stuff is gone, sir. I'm homeless, or the judge is the woman. I'm homeless, ma'am. Walking with a cane and like doctor, because a lot of men mess their bodies up, from years of hard working and pushing themselves further to provide for others and build a future that a woman, so that they can take care of a woman and a family. So these men a lot of us men have health conditions that we just literally laugh through and loathe through. So we can just pull those things out of nowhere and then turn around and now, we're out of these jobs and then we just leave the U.S. We leave the U.S. and then we basically go overseas to another country, build a business over there, whatever, do some day trading, live off capital gains or, avoid capital gains as best we can. And we're good to go. Okay. A lot of guys are doing this. They're basically opting entirely out of society. They're like, oh, how many years of alimony is that going to be? That's going to be 15 years of alimony. Okay, so that's going to be 15 years of vacationing for me. How many years of child support do I have left? I've got 10 years of child support left. Okay, well, so that's going to be 10 years of vacationing outside of the United States for me. Okay, that's going to be a 10-year vacation. I may never come back. All right, that's really what's happening right now. And these men basically leave and they disappear. And what women do is they then have to go out there and try to find a plan B guy to go and marry them and take care of them, right? And is take care of some single mom and all 4 of her kids. And it's ridiculous. I had a friend that I grew up with, and this was like 20 years ago. This was maybe 20 years. It was a long time ago. All right. I find out like almost 20 years. I find out like that 20 years ago, this guy basically, he comes out of the military and he went and picked up some single mom that had like 4 kids. And this was not an ugly dude. This was not an ugly dude. And he went and took a single mom that had like 4 kids, bro. And then went and had like kids with her on top of it. It was like, what? I don't even want to see that dude right now. I haven't seen that dude in probably 30 years. No, let me think. How long has it been? How long has it been since I've seen that dude? It's been over 20 years. It's been maybe 25 years. I haven't seen that dude since the 90s, I think. I haven't seen that dude since the 90s. All right. Damn. We're almost in 2025. I haven't seen that dude since the 90s. I don't want to run into him. I don't know how fucked up his life is right now. Okay? After the poor decisions that he's made. He definitely probably has aged terribly after the stupidity that he did. You don't even have, maybe God bless him, things worked out, but chances are you could already predict how his life went. All right? Screwed up his entire life for some single mom. But at least a lot of men are learning their lessons right now. Why are there so many simps on my channel? Because they have nowhere else to go. They have nowhere else to go. Why are there so many simps in the manosphere? Because they have nowhere else to go. The same men who are responsible for the destruction of society are the same men who are all over the manosphere. They have nowhere. Why are they sitting with the men that they hate? Why are you listening to Uncle Angry's videos if you hate him so much? Because you have nowhere else to go. Why aren't you listening to to videos by women discussing empowerment or simps like yourself? Because you hate men so much that when you listen to those videos, it gets boring. Because it's just more hate. Okay? I'm telling you guys, these people are jokers. These people are absolute jokers. And the same people, the same women who push these policies and these notions will want men to come and rescue society. And because whenever society goes downhill, they always try to put men back on top. Of course, what women will do this time around is they'll try to say that we're going to share that power. Okay? We're going to fight together. Okay? We got everything that we wanted. Feminism got us everything we wanted. Now we need to fight together. What? Are you out of your minds? Okay? And they'll start talking about, they're already doing it, positive masculinity. I'm not saying that all masculinity is toxic. What we need to do is teach these boys positive masculinity. We need to mobilize these men. All right? So, oh, really? So who are you going to use to mobilize them? Simps? The State Department? Using fear? Force them into military service using indoctrination, telling them that they should be grateful to serve their country and sacrifice themselves for their country? For women in society? How do you tell a young man something like that with a straight face? And then let him know that if he doesn't comply, there are going to be consequences. But they're not consequences in the sense that, he's being punished. He just has to be taught his lesson. And when he learns his lesson, then he'll be happy. In other words, you will owe nothing and you will be happy. Basically, you will smile or we will torment you. We will punish you, or we may even control alt delete you. You will be happy. We'll do whatever we want and you will enjoy it because we say so. because we control your mind, we control your body, we control your soul. Guys, it's a fight for the it is a fight for the mind, it is a fight for the body, it is a fight for the soul. It is literally good versus evil right now. It is a sick, sick world that we live in. And the simps and a lot of women in Western society today, they have been fighting forever to bring this reality, this dystopia that we are in that right now, into reality, to make it a reality. And these are the same people that say we can never go back to the way things that were. But then they're crying on social media that they can't afford food and everything is going to hell around them. And then how do they respond? By voting for the same exact policies that put us in this place. Voting for the same people and the same policies that put us in this place. Guys, this is why I said that we're dealing with people who are functionally insane at best. What did Einstein define the definition of insanity as? All right, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result every time. You're dealing with people who are functionally insane at best. And that's the reason why we're in the problems that we're in right now. That's the reason why we're experiencing the issues we're experiencing right now. That's the reason why we're in this dystopia right now. This miserable reality that most people do not want to live in. Because of these people, because of these individuals. This was all done by design. By design. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content, head over to the Angry Guy Clubhouse. Join the Angry Guy Clubhouse for podcasts, extended videos, guides. You know, I try to put out a new article on the Clubhouse every single day. Right now, we have the art of the fib up, when lying is actually a good thing. I mean, we have did feminism fail women? The unexpected backlash. Some of these are actually videos. Like I said, we have a video. This was one of our videos. Men going their own way has robbed women of their futures. We have another video, men are staying home and just watching society burn. Or this one, millions of boomers are ending up homeless. It's true. It's true. We also have some great Gen X stories, great like the silent rage of Gen X, forged in the fires of reality. The Gen Xers that are still around today are the ones that survive. Yeah, I mean, go check it out, guys. Go check it out. Enjoy it. It's really, really awesome. Really, really awesome. So go and check that out. It's linked in the description. And like I said, there's guides, everything on there. And when you join, you also get our free digital nomad blueprint, and that's linked in the description for you guys. So go ahead and check that out. Enjoy yourselves, guys. I want to know your thoughts, really. Please go ahead and share your thoughts with me on this situation. Broke girls can't afford food or rent, and their future is basically poverty, destitution, hardship, the streets. And men continue to walk away and focus on themselves and their own happiness. Men are never coming back. If they want a woman, they'll go overseas and get a woman who's fit, feminine, friendly. And even a lot of guys are not going to leave they're not going to go overseas. They're just going to basically chill and watch it all burn. That's really where things are headed. All right. For many women today, the future is poverty and destitution, because the status cannot afford them anymore. The average man leaves a surplus on the economy over the course of his life. The average woman leaves a deficit on the economy over the course of her life. If men begin working less and pulling back, everything crumbles. Everything crumbles, and that's where we're headed. And we cannot live off credit forever. The state can't even pay its bills right now. It cannot pay its interest on $35 trillion in debt. You're hoping that by continuing to push up inflation to impossible numbers, they don't care if people can survive or not. That'll just allow them to, get some leeway to be able to pay their interest and borrow more money and keep the scam going. But let me know your thoughts, guys. Broke girls can't afford food or rent. Do you agree this is going to be a continued trend? It's going to continue downhill from here. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video, and just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.